And then I do the same transition, and I welcome everybody to another episode of Failed Portrayal. Tonight I ask you to read the Rune. Did you get it? It's like read the room. It's runic. We're talking about runics.
We're also going to be reading a lot of instant fusions today.
Yes. Oh, where to start, chat? Hi. Anyway, we're back. We're back from our slightly belated April Fool's shenanigans with the Pokemon episode. We'll continue to bring you funny haha ideas as they come to me. I know Axe at some point suggested, like, oh, you could look at, like, Digimon cards, and I'm like, I don't actually know that much about how the Digimon card game works, and I don't know if I could do say anything about the art. I guess Loth and I could hang out and, you know, talk about which Digimon are the funniest. Loth, what's your opinion on Terriermon?
Terriermon. Oh, the adorable little bunny guy?
Yeah.
Who then becomes a giant mecha suit?
Yes, correct. That guy, yeah. I've been rewatching Digimon Tamers. I talked about this on Power Wash, and while I am still a Gallantmon Andy, I did not realize how much of a little snit Terriermon is. He's great.
Oh yeah, no, from memory, Terriermon is a menace, and then you go to Lopmon, the other kind, and it's like night and day. It's like, holy shit.
It's the chocolate version of me. Chris Riley's like, put me in, coach. I mean, we could, but we'll discuss that for future, like, specially timed episodes. We're here to talk about Runic today. We're back to format.
Yeah. It just, when it comes to Digimon, there's usually two ways it goes. It becomes either a refrigerator with several machine guns or a hot lady.
There's also I mean, it's the same frame as Hot Lady. There's the classic, what TV Tropes calls the Bishonen line, where, like, you have, like, a little goobus, like, you know, a dinosaur creature or some kind of weird guy, and then he just becomes a normal man. Possibly with a gun.
Yep.
Or you have characters like Yorilichi and Nell from Bleach, who are the opposite of that.
There's Bleach has its own conduits of transmogrification.
Yeah.
Because I talk about Gundramon. It's true. There is a guy just called Gundramon. I should look up sometime if Gundramon predates Barrel Dragon, because that is that fucking meme corporate asked you to tell the difference between these two pictures.
No, there
Gundramon is literally just Barrel Dragon.
I can't remember the name of it. There's a Digimon I saw recently which made me go, oh, that's adorable. It's just basically imagine Agumon, but blue, and he's wearing a fucking military vest and helmet with a gun.
Is adorable. So, we're actually rounding out our time in Tactical Masters today. We did Labyrinth, we did Valance, and so we are now doing the last one in this, Runic. While Lab obviously does have a lot of really strong meta success, you know, killer in Master Duel, honestly would probably be technically Tier 1 right now if it weren't for the fact that we are in a Tier 0 format, and everybody seems to be playing either some Snake Eyes variant or is playing a $30 Stuns 2 through 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hold on, sorry, I found it. Let me put it in the Failed Portrayal chat.
MBT literally posted Stun and Burn TMT today, which was just 3 different...
It was Stun, Stall, Burn.
Yeah, Stun, Stall, Burn, yeah. So, on the one hand, you know, this is the thing I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Having an eternal format that you can just say, all right, I don't want to buy or can't afford new cards. Let me dig up my shit from 10 to 20 years ago.
We can go, how about we play Blackwing?
Yeah.
Hey,
but
real
life.
Also, yes, I see
Quick
what
question.
you've done. Yeah.
Guess what his name is?
Soldiermon.
Close.
Marine
Commandramon.
Okay.
Digimon names. Anyway,
His fucking skin is so fucking camo patterned.
yeah, he's digitally camouflaged. Law has found a great image that's gonna flashbang me several times tonight when I look away.
Yeah.
Would you look into the Discord?
Yeah, I'm gonna tab away to set up some art. And I'm gonna click back in the Discord, and I'm just gonna see this little guy, and I'm just gonna be like, huh? Yeah. But yeah, so we're in a 2-0 format, so some people are playing some really heinous shit. But it's very funny that, like I said, people are unironically playing Chainburn right now. Sure. My personal prediction, I know, despite the fact that, honestly, this meta has only been going on for about a month, to put this in perspective, Poplar has only been out about a month or two of actual formatting.
Snake Eyes has been out short enough that we're getting, off-brand, but still, lore support for the cards right now.
Yeah, there's still a few different sinful spoils that are filtering out.
We are still making more sinful spoils cards.
Yes. But also it is a tier 0 format, so that drastically increases the amount of chance you are likely to see the deck, which makes people tired faster, I think. But we are kind of in the ban list season. My personal prediction is I believe this weekend is going to be YCS Guadalajara. My definite prediction is that Konami will absolutely fire the ban list in the middle of Guadalajara. I have no faith that Konami will not launch a new FL list in the middle of an event.
I don't know why they keep doing this.
I don't know. Nobody likes it because everybody who's playing the event gets super distracted because they're trying to process this ban list thing. It completely fucks up coverage of the event because everybody's like, well, that meta doesn't fucking matter anymore. But they keep doing it.
I remember hearing people talk about it, how in the moment it was incredible, but when everything settled down, we're like, man, this actually sucks ass.
Yeah. I know for a fact, I know obviously that MBT, and other content creators are like, oh no, woe is me. We make content on the internet so people want to interact with you. But he talked about getting flagged down in the middle of playing a YCS for people to be like, have you seen the new ban list? And he's like, dog, I'm playing here. I'm in the middle of the match. It's wild. But we'll see how it plays out. There's also lots of other funny meta stuff we may talk about at the end, but Runic is a deck that is consistently as an engine been pretty strong and seen a lot of play. I'll pull up the art in slightly higher res, but you can technically already see the first card we need to talk about, which is the field spell Runic Fountain. In this image, I'll grab its higher quality art piece so you can see some runes. This card is limit 1 in the OCG and semi-limited in the TCG.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know about Runics, I guess a quick rundown if you've been under a rock for the past, 3 years? Something like that?
2, but yeah. This set came out 2022, so yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah, for the last few years, Runic is a archetype that consists solely of spells in the main deck and a handful of fusion monsters.
Yeah.
There are no main deck monsters in the archetype.
We do have a little bit of lore on them because they were in one of the valuable books, Valuable Book EX3. And basically, what Runic represents is a really cool concept. This is the thing we're gonna probably say. Runic, very neat art, very interesting art direction, their lore, very cool. They do a very interesting and unique thing. The problem is that they are designed also to be good, so they are very easy to slot in a lot of different decks and strategies, which means you see a fuck ton of it. So everybody's tired of it. It's like Sword Soul.
One of the major aspects that Runic has always been is as a stun deck.
Yes.
As a stun deck, but it has also been in multitudes of just combo decks. So it's done both, but yeah. Runic is always thought of as, I think, generally as a stun deck when you think of pure Runic, because just how it works, as we'll see.
Well, and Runic, we can say right now, Runic's technically win strategy is a mill. While all of their cards are instant fusions, as Vesper joked about earlier, also most of their cards are mill cards as well. They're actual meat and potatoes cards. So that is fundamentally a strategy that is going to involve trying to deck out your opponent. And if you don't actually go for deck out, which, to be fair, a lot of the actually good Runic strategies usually don't go so far as to try and actually deck you out ever since Mystic Mine was actually banned. But usually that facilitates a control strategy where you selectively eliminate your opponent's plays and, it becomes stun. Yes, Runic literally won last weekend. Runic Stun, I think, actually, like, literally won. Over, Snake Eyes Fire King and all that shit. So, like, Runic is one of those decks that even with Fountain, like, in a limited state, I think Runic will only die... Ooh, sorry. Caught my foot for a second there. I think Runic will only actually die if they straight up ban Fountain. If they get rid of Fountain, that kills their consistency play, like their ability to recycle their spells. You could probably still play some of the extra deck guys as an engine, and maybe, like, also some of the really good spells as, like, tech options to replace your other staples. But in general, the reason why Runic is a powerhouse is because of what Fountain does, which we'll explain in a second. So it's a really interesting deck, and I think it's neat, but also I have to admit that it, like, allowed so much dumb stuff to happen. But the way that what Runic represents is, a lot of people over here joked that it's Skyrim, because we'll see the Art of Runic tip later. It's it's a first-person RPG. You, the person playing the deck, represent the player. You are literally first-person RPGing your game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And all of the Runic spell traps, the spells, are the runes of power. They are special magical spells or items you can acquire in your quest. The way the EX book talks about them, by the way, is very funny. It literally is written like a strategy guide telling you what runes are good for what bosses and quests.
Yeah, and it does appear, glancing at the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
A lot of these items are directly represented of, like, Norse mythology items, or, like, famous items. Like, we'll get into
and it's because, and we when we did do Generator earlier, which I know Vesper was not here for, but we did cover Generator at a earlier time. These two decks are directly connected. I know there were some suggestions when Runic was first coming out. They were like, oh, this kind of feels like a Generator vibe. Literally, Runic Allure is Lopter giving the player their first rune. Like, straight up, it's Lopter. He's wearing, like, his hood up, but it's Generator Lopter. So, they are directly connected. The Generators are, like, the world bosses of this game that Runic represents. So it's very interesting. But let's actually discuss what Fountain does. The Fountain, by the way, is obviously supposed to be a reference to, Odin's, Well of Wisdom. Technically, the Mimir's Well, where Odin, like, looked at some stuff. Odin being represented by the Generator boss Har. But you can see some vibes there, because this is, like, vaguely demonical, but it does have one glowing eye. Odin, very famous for being one-eyed. You got a lot of runes around there. And what this represents in the game state is the fountains are basically your, like, Soulsborne bonfires. They are the place you go to grab new rewards, recover your magic, and presumably are, like, save points as well.
Yeah. At fountains located throughout various regions, you can recover your strength and recharge your runics. But who was it that created these fountains, is how the EX book describes it.
And here's the concept art to mix it up a little. So yeah, there's a very spooky guy.
Interesting, though, looking at the statue, like, I know we don't see Har, but on Har's card art, the eye glowing is on the other side.
Yeah, it's a funny little note. And Har also, like, has giant horns, but they are completely different.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. But Runic Fountain is their field spell. It is also, I should say, because I didn't mention it earlier, in the OCG, these cards are just pronounced with the katakana Rune, but they have, specific language used, which means Shinpi, which is literally divine, like, runestone, and has a forced reading, obviously, of rune, but it also is a homophone with the word for mystery, So obviously, because there are cards that are already called Rune or Runic in Yu-Gi-Oh, the TCG had to come up with some funny extra stuff to get in there. Because it was not unique enough, so they went with Runic with a CK, like the archaic spelling of magic. For an archetype that is about rune magic, going for Runic, it works. It's perfectly fine. That reminds me, I think we've gotten some of our official, our next set official, like, TCG names. Apparently for Rika, they're going for Ragnarika. That's the new insect plant. Reptile. That's the third. I'm like, what's the other tri-type? Reptile.
Yes, and some Caesar, like they were Mr. Rune, I believe was what organization called them.
Yes, the YGO organization went for the like mystery plus rune homophone. It was an okay strategy. I think Runic is a little simpler, but
yeah,
you know, they. I do feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh community unnecessarily gives the TCG shit when the real names don't line up with YGO organization's predictions, which is stupid. Stop doing that. I do think that YGO organization does a decent job most of the time when they're just like looking at Japanese puns and literal translations and are trying to figure out what the fuck you could call that in English.
Yeah, YGO organization, they're not trying to predict what the archetypes are called. They're just trying to find the best analog to what the pun in the names are.
Yeah. They try and figure out what it means and do their best to figure it out. Sometimes they're close, sometimes they're not. I'm trying to remember. I think I heard some people worry that Tenpai was going to be called Trident Dragon, but I think I saw in the set list on YG Organization there's still Tenpai Dragons.
Which I feel like yes, it's a Trident Dragon archetype, but Tenpai Dragon, if they're not called that, I think is just kind of silly.
Yeah, Legacy of Destruction names for the core.
It's integral to the archetype's design theming.
Melodius, we've got Snake Eyes Diabell Star, Diabellese. Ooh, okay. Diabellese's name is very interesting in the TCG. Diabellese, the original Sin Keeper.
Ooh.
But no, yeah. According to YG Organization, they've got the original 80 list translated, and that includes it's Tenpai Dragon, Pydra, Fadra, Chandra. So like all the names are unique enough that they work.
And those are the I know Chandra. I'm assuming Chandra is the red one.
I believe so.
Because Chun is the red dragon in Mahjong. And Haku. Shit, I can't remember what the green dragon is now off the top of my head. But yeah, so they are just kind of going for the phonetic names of the dragons in Mahjong, which makes sense.
Yeah, because that's that I feel like is unique enough that they're not going to have to worry about any overlap unless somehow Yu-Gi-Oh releases a second dragon Mahjong themed archetype. But I don't think that will happen. But what Runic Fountain does, to get back on track a little, Runic Fountain is a field spell, and it says you can activate Runic Quick Play spell cards from your hand during your opponent's turn. You know, Quick Play spell cards, the things you're supposed to have to set first? Don't do that. Also, once per turn...
It just circumvents... It turns your Quick Plays into hand traps.
Yeah, basically. You still need free zones, obviously, but that means that you are basically able to activate your quick play spells on your opponent's turn as normal, but without telegraphing them. You don't have to set anything so that they can like go for Feather Duster and just force you to activate everything, or like pop them on field, shit like that. You get to keep it all in hand, and it's very flexible. Soft once per turn, which is why this card is limited in the OCG and semied in the TCG. Don't ask me how we got that backwards. But if you activate a Runic Quick Play spell card, which is, again, most of their spells, they have one field spell, one continuous. You can target up to 3 Runic Quick Play spells in your graveyard, place them on the bottom of your deck in any order, draw the same number of cards. So
just shuffle them back in, baby.
Yeah. Whenever you activate one, which is once per turn, so this includes when you do it on your opponent's turn as well, you just pick a couple guys, shuffle them back, draw some new cards. This is why Runic will always be good as a resource engine so long as you're running a few of them. And depending on how lean your engine is, you can cram, like, probably, like, only a quarter of your deck, play, like, 1 or 2 copies of Fountain, put a little extra deck space, so you can use some of the fusions we're going to talk about later. and then play, a couple copies of Fountain and all your good runic spells. You've got a tight little runic package. And you don't need to worry about, at least if you can get to Fountain anyway, you don't need to worry about bricking on your side engine, because if you have Fountain, you just shuffle them back and, go again. It's pretty spicy. So I think it's a strong one. And as Chad is pointing out, like I said earlier, this is a soft once per turn, which is why the limit status is very important. Like I said, I do not think Runic will die as an engine option until you get rid of Fountain. And do I think they will necessarily get rid of Fountain? I'm not sure. There are a lot of very spicy field spells coming out, which I will admit, I think the TCG is fucking huffing copium that the other half of the Ashened is going to be good, that you can play an Ashened deck or package to use Vados to pop field spells. But sure, we'll hope it's good and it works. But yeah, chat's talking about Runic Naturia. I want to talk about stun decks. Ugh. I'm glad that one went. That deck seems to have faded from our optimal ruse.
Oh, Runic Naturia.
Yeah, I think we've gotten out of that phase. But yeah, Runic Fountain is just advantage. It's funny because I believe if I remember correctly when people were first reading this archetype getting previewed, it was one of those decks where you go, okay, that's pretty good, but this isn't a field spell that says, I don't know, hypothetically, the Gimmick Puppet field spell, which is going to say your Gimmick Puppets are unaffected by, the effects of non-Xyz monsters. So, this doesn't read win the game on its face, but this is absolutely a very powerful card.
Yeah. And I guess we should mention at some point that initially Runic was thought of as just a mill deck because of the next problem we'll get into.
Yeah. Let's talk about their continuous real quick to round out our theming. It's Allure. This is also
we'll get into Allure and then we'll discuss a kind of thing that's the concept people thought of this deck when it was first dropped.
So this is the shot that kind of kickstarts our lore here. You've got Lopter with his hood up being double mysterious. The Fountain is obviously behind them, and you see the player's, left hand taking a new little rune thing. Hey, buddy, have this rune.
The mysterious NPC.
Yes, also Axe is here. Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Runic Allure. So this is a continuous spell card. This is their only continuous, I believe, at this time. And it says, each time a quick play spell activates, banish the top card of your opponent's deck. You can only control one Runic Allure. So, yeah, this was the thing that made people think, because there are, like we said, every quick play usually says when it resolves an effect, banish X number of cards off the top of your opponent's deck. So, people were like, okay, I get it. It's a mill deck. You play cards, you banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck. Banishment is usually better than just, God forbid if this just said send the top card of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, it would be nothing. It would be super nothing. It would be the worst deck of all time because everybody would be playing decks that plus off this.
At this point, cards going to the graveyard in any deck is just a bonus. It's just free.
I mean, and honestly, it's been that way long enough. Lightsworn's pretty fucking old at this point. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had a concept of decks that want to mill themselves anyway for a long time. How old is Needlebug Nest? That's an old card, too.
It's ancient.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, the main concept people thought of when they saw this deck was just, oh, it's a mill deck. Okay. It'll, people will try it. I'm sure it'll get wins, whatnot. It's a consistent strategy. It can do things. But people did not think of it as just a pure combo deck because, as we mentioned, the other side of the effects of all the Runic cards, just instant fusion the guy from extra deck, which all the fusions can do different amounts of various different things, but they're all still pretty good as just in self-contained package, and you really just can't play 100% pure Runic because there's only 10 cards, so you're playing 10 other cards of something else or core.
Also, TBH, not all of the Runic cards are good.
Yeah. Also that.
Like, some of the spells aren't good. So, yeah, Allure, in the actual, like, settled-out metagame, when this deck actually shook out, Allure is basically never played. You don't get to plus off Fountain using it. It does reward you for, like, trying to find other quick-play spell cards to play, but, like, what do you do? You playing, like, Droplet in here? What do you do? Like, what does this deck need that plays other quick plays, you know? What, are you going to play Hand Destruction? So, like, it's a weird case where, like, obviously this was part of the original strategy. Like, this literally is a card art that shows a setup, but it's not actually played that way, which is very funny. Also, yes, the Synchro era is technically ancient. This is a thing that, like, has been going on the rounds on Twitter and stuff, but I do feel the need to remind everybody. Hey, chat, people at home, pendulums are 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since pendulums came out.
You know what sick quick play spells we can play in the Runic deck? Poison of the Old Man.
Sure, turn it into a bird deck. For time, because you're gonna go to time.
It's effect damage and life point gain. It's broken.
Yeah, so, again, this is one of those cases where, like, I feel like with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes, and admittedly, I think some of this is the content machine, you either feel the need to say that a deck is complete dog shit or will ruin everything, because historically,
Extremism
anyway,
gets views.
yes, having a more extreme opinion generates more emotional reaction, which generates more investment. That may or may not actually be, like, writing out overall, but that is usually how it feels. But also, I think sometimes, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players just also like to think this way, because I'll see randos on Twitter who don't have, like, booming YouTube careers saying this shit sometimes, too. But, like, yeah, a lot of people were like, okay, this is a unique strategy. It probably is going to do something, but a pure mill deck can't possibly be good, right? We don't want that to be good for Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? Well, you're probably correct. Because when you're playing other Runic decks and they combine that milling with other shit so that, like, you're losing a lot of gas, it does suck. But definitely, like, the potential was not realized right away, and I think we've got a good one, because we're going to do these in alphabetical order for the spells, because they're in the main deck. This is our first one, Runic Destruction, aka Rune of Destruction, Hakai no Rune. So, Destruction, it has the, it's a little hard to see, I believe, but it may be in some arts other ways, but it's got the H rune for Hail. It's probably invoking Thor's gauntlets, the Yarn Graper.
Yeah, Yarn Graper.
His big, which, by the way, funnily enough, I believe, according to the Wikipedia I just double-checked, can be translated as Iron Grippers. Enjoy that, chat. But yeah, no. So, clearly, Rune of Destruction is just, you get big huge gauntlets and punch some stuff. And there's two characters you can see in here, two little familiars who will be coming back later, but this is also a good card to start with because it introduces some concepts. You got some little guys. Also, I believe it's a little hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure that the boss that is being punched out is Utgarda, generator, boss of Delusions.
Yeah, like the Wikipedia art, like the Wikipedia page for Runic just has all of them listed. Yeah, along with it.
So it's hard to tell from the scale, but yeah, this is clearly a boss fight where the player busts out their punch rush spell. Get some whacks in. So what destruction
the castle
does?
gate of the generator of the divine giant can only be destroyed by a tempered runic punching attack. However, beware the illusions cast by the generator boss of delusions that lays inside the castle walls, which is Utgarda's subtitle.
Yeah.
Oh, so one said the other? Am I echoing?
Well, Utgarda is called generator boss of delusion and creates illusions.
Okay.
And looks like a giant castle, but with a head on it. We talked about this last time, but Utgarda's a Final Fantasy Alexander-looking ass. But yeah, so I guess that you need the to break down the door and get access to the boss fight. You need your it's a Legend of Zelda type puzzle. You need your power gloves to crush the door. Good for you. So destruction has two effects because, as we said, runic quick play spells do this. They basically all say activate one of these effects, but skip your next battle phase after activation. That's another really funny part of this is runic skips your battle phase. You do not battle phase. And so its first effect is target a spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it, banish the top 4 cards of their deck, or special summon a runic monster from your extra deck to the EMZ specifically. You can only activate 1 runic destruction per turn. So effect 1 is it's a MST basically, and then also banishes 4, or you can use it to... Yeah, 4 I think is on the high end. I think there might be 1 that banishes like 5, but I think 4 is the top. Otherwise, and then it's also instant fusion, which again is like
there's one other 4. 4 is the most. There's only one other that does 4.
Okay, yeah. So there's 2 4s, yeah. But this is the thing we mentioned earlier. People didn't think of this as, hey, this is a quick play instant fusion that you can run 3 copies of. Like they didn't realize that what the potential is. But just on paper, as either an instant fusion or just playing a archetypal MST, that's perfectly fine. Plus, like we said, 4 is a good amount. That's a 10th of their deck gone. And it's a pretty good action shot, I think. Also, funnily enough, I don't know why, but maybe it's because the Master Duel ban list is designed by deranged people, monkeys on typewriters, but apparently destruction is limited in Master Duel.
I'm guessing because it banishes 4.
Probably.
That has to be why, and not because it's spell trap destruction.
Yeah, because you can literally pick a starter deck that comes with 3 MST. Yeah, no, it's weird. Actually, isn't MST like a rare in Master Duel?
Well, is Golden Droplet in Master Duel?
Yeah, all of these should be in Master Duel. Let me actually grab Golden Drop and see what it's real quick.
It also just looks bad too. Now that I'm reading the other effect, it also is just kind of bad.
I just don't really like how it. I just don't like how the familiars look like they're just put on a layer on top of the image.
I mean, that may actually kind of be how they're supposed to look. Remember, you're in like a first-person video game POV, so like, I will say it's not quite like they're over because you can see some of that light like occluding. Shit, which one is that? I think is it Hugin or Moonin? It's
Moonin. Moonin is the lad. Hugin is the girl.
Okay, yeah. So like, if you look closely, you can see some of these god rays are like occluding them. So there is like depth of field. You are right that they are just kind of like tacked on, but I think they're supposed to look a little bit like that because they are just like your little fairy buddies.
That's fair.
They're your Navi.
Yeah. It is an interesting thing to note, and you're right that when I see them like out of the corner of my eye, they do look a little stuck on there. Yeah, no, Droplet, which by the way is an SR in Master Duel, is unlimited, probably because it's a terrible card.
Yeah. It does banish the top 4 cards of your deck, but its other effect is way worse than Destruction.
Yeah, so I assume that's why Destruction is the one that's limited, because they're like, okay, this is the one you play, clearly we need to work on this. All right, so our next card art, which is also another very interesting one, is Runic Dispelling. So, Dispelling has the rune for Man. It is associated with Nidhogg, Generator Boss of Ice, because these two guys, Magic Lady and Johnny Fightman, John Generator, I believe they're in... Let me actually double-check the trivia, but I'm pretty sure they're in... they're in Boss Fight, which is the card where we see Nidhogg and Nafalgar facing off in the ice area. So I believe the implication here is that these guys get frozen by Nidhogg.
They just got caught in the crossfire,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
If you challenge the generator with your allies, you encounter unexpected threats and dangers, but make sure you have anti-ice strategies. Do a lot of pre-prep. Yeah, so it's very typical, like, RPG-type stuff. The idea seems to be that, like, you can acquire items or spells that can break curses, so you can remove Nidhogg's ice curse and unfreeze these guys, and they help you out. Perfectly normal stuff. These character designs are very generic, which I think is perfectly fine for what we're representing, but it's funny that these guys are like... Again, a lot of people make Skyrim jokes because, you know, it's vaguely Norse. Actually, Skyrim is vaguely Norse. Runics are explicitly super Norse. But, this is like... These character designs are anime as hell. I'm pretty sure that maybe with a different hair color, I think Headband Guy might be an extra in Sword Art Online somewhere.
Or just in Dragon Quest, you know?
Not Hack, honestly.
He's just a Dragon Quest guy.
And obviously, like, not the way that the rest of her design is, but that staff that woman have is very Megumin.
Kind of?
Very Konosuba. I mean, it's got the it's not wood, but it's got the rounded shape and it's got the big red ball. That is a fairly recurring theme, but like I said, she's got a pointy hat. She's got a big anime staff. Like, it's very on the nose.
It's generic, but it does not feel, I guess, soulless. Like you can clearly tell these guys have like thought out designs, but they're very clearly just like they're allowed stand-in for personality.
And also, I think the artist does a good job like capturing their expressions. Like, it looks like, you know, the caster here has like a little bit of like, you know, anime tear droplets in her eyes. She's very happy. The other guy is like, oh yeah, I'm free. Holy cow. You know, they project good vibes, and also I do like the lighting in this is very good with like the very dark ice in the back, but the like god rays of the rune, very good. So despelling, rune of dispelling. Funny enough, the Japanese verb for this is kaiju no rune, but obviously it's a different kaiju. But it activates the effects. The unique effect of this quick play is if your opponent adds a card from their hand to their deck except during their draw phase, discard a random card from their hand, then banish the top two cards of their deck. So it is a one-time Dark Claw.
That's pretty rude.
Yes, very mean. Very mean, especially because, as we established earlier, if you have Fountain on the board, you can play this from your hand, so it becomes a very spicy hand trap. Most decks need to add cards to their hand, except during their draw phase. It'd be funny if they were the adventure token. Thank you, Filthy Casual, for using your special membership super chat. But yes,
I was having like I was losing my mind for a little bit. It turns out there's a mic in my headset that was on, and I was losing my fucking mind because I was hearing it.
Oh, you had yourself like looped back. Okay, did you?
No, it's because like on my left side of my head, on the left side, I could hear like everything that I usually hear that's muffled through my headset like sound extra sensitive. So it was like confusing the fuck out of me.
Oh, you have like reverse noise canceling headphones. Like, hey, we're gonna de-enclose you. So you can hear other shit.
I couldn't tell because it turns out it was just giving me the mic. It was giving me the mic rating because the mic wasn't going anywhere.
Well, I assume since you brought it up, you've caught it, you fixed it.
I found it because there's a mute switch I was just turned off.
All right, good, cool.
Which is like
that sounds like it sucks.
It did because I was like, wait, do I have like I don't know what was different.
Also, by the way, I want to say it's funny because when we actually did the generator episode, admittedly, I was doing that with our usual crew, but I was like, boy. Generator, I would say, is very Final Fantasy coded. With all these big Norse guys and a lot of their like art styles, like, big angel covered in swords. Like I said, Utgard it's literally a castle with a head on it. So it's like, yeah, that's Alexander, some other stuff like that. And there are going to be, I think, some design comparisons, but because it's a first person RPG, it's very unique, especially as we show up our next one. This is Runic Flashing Fire. Here's something you won't see outside of your non-modded Skyrim. This rune is a gun!
Yeah, so this is the one runic spell that has no Norse origin because it's just a fucking gun.
Yeah, I mean it's got the rune for the sun on it, obviously, because it's like I said, it's a fucking laser gun. I love this design though. Like this is, I mean, I could see this as a machinist weapon. Like it's a revolver laser gun with like instead of iron sights you can use, though it does have a sight on the front. It has huge fucking ornate fins, so you absolutely cannot actually aim down sights on this thing.
Yeah. So the funny thing is the strategy guide for this one. In the divine realm that you visit early on, goes the generator boss of swords, who excels in speed and its loyal envoys. Since it can fly through the air as it wants, you should focus on speed as well, firing runic solar heat bullets and defeating its envoys. If you can take out their wings, you'll have a huge opportunity to beat it.
Yeah, so I guess basically saying that Frody Generator of Swords here is a boss that likes to move around really fast and summon ads. How do you solve that? Fucking shoot them.
You shoot them with a fucking magma plasma gun.
Get a gun and keep them at range. Don't get near them.
Yeah.
Is it
Lame-
like...
Lame it out, fucker.
Is it like a beam, or is it more of like single shots, like a las
It
gun?
says sun bullets, so like I assume that it actually like rotates. But it's so it's not like a continuous beam, but it's definitely shooting like sun rays.
Okay, so it's like a las gun, but like a,
Yeah,
but a
but
revolver.
this is this is so funny to me that like basically they're like, okay, this guy, he's a Dark Souls ass boss. How do you solve this? Gun.
Especially because you have to wind up all your attacks and you have like no range.
Yeah,
So it's like
so
fuck it,
just
do biggest
poke-
best range, laser.
It's great. It's very funny. I love the aesthetical implications here. Also, again, very funny that this is, otherwise a very anime-ass RPG that is filtered through, like, Norse mythology. And then there's just Flashing Fire, which is just, like I said, gone!
Well, and also, the way the game is described, Loki or Lopter, is giving you these, so Loki just found a gun, and it's like,
Loki hands
way-
you a gun and says, go, do a crime!
Okay, I'll say this.
Oh,
It's
somebody
a giant big arbalist-sized rifle thing with a rotary thing with a rune bat charging it, so it's like very much a magic style.
Oh, no, it's a
powered
very
weapon.
magic
So,
gun.
yeah.
I love this design, but it's so funny.
It's like, I assume there's a revolver because there's like, power cells or something that like
Yeah,
get
it's-
shattered
yeah.
or something. I don't know.
I mean,
we're
also, it
joking
may
that
just
it's
be
a
to look
gun,
cool.
but it is still very clearly like fantasy steampunk. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a Tommy gun or something.
It's a
Yeah.
drummer gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still it doesn't it's anachronistic, but it still feels like it fits the aesthetic.
Yeah. So what this one's unique effect is target a special summon monster, destroy it, banish 2 cards. So just,
That's
pop a
good
special
one.
summon guy. Pretty normal spell.
Yep.
You probably don't cut that one of the deck. You might like run it lower copies, but at least still run it.
Destruction is all right. It banishes 4 and pops a spell trap. Dispelling, like we said earlier, very rude. Flashing Fire is pretty normal. Obviously, you may want to sight it out against certain decks that are more normal summon reliant, but, it's still pretty decent. Then next in the list, showing you that we do actually have, normal weapons. It's Freezing Curses. Runic Freezing Curses, or the Rune of Freezing Curses. So, yeah, you've got a bow. The bow uses a slightly different but similar-looking rune, which is for the yew tree. Clearly you are shooting ice arrows against the fire boss.
Sorry. Just the 2 fucking fusion monster birds going, just running away from
Also,
this guy.
by the way, I think this is the first time we actually get scale on these guys. Look how tiny Moonin is. Like, she's tugging on the strap of your wrist strap.
She
Yeah, no,
is
like,
really
they are like Navi.
Yeah, they are
the pixie
very
size,
small.
yes.
Yeah. But also I love that just like, I think that's Nafilgar there, or maybe some other mob, but just like fucking, that poor son of a gun got froze. This is the, hey, Nintendo, if you're listening to me, if you're looking for a huge revolution in Legend of Zelda technology after the open world, give me a first-person Legend of Zelda. Okay, thanks. Because that's what this is. This is the fucking ice arrows. Literally.
It is.
Like,
Also, you can see that he's also summoned one of the wolves, so he has now a party.
oh
of
yeah, you
4,
can see
I
a wolf
guess.
down there. Yeah, you can see him in there. But yeah, so like we're going to the lava zone. and we're doing the classic RPG thing: use ice magic on fire guy. Fire guy get froze.
There's also 3 of those guys, so it's like, I guess it's
Yeah, just
like
some,
this is where it's like you need to freeze him to kill them at all.
Yeah, one's coming out of the cave mouth.
Yeah. But yeah, and also pretty typical, you know,
Did we mention
bosses have
the-
trash mobs.
Did I mention the origin of freezing curses?
No, I did not mention that yet.
So the rune is the U tree, which I
Yes.
think your organization has attributed that to the Idalier, where apparently like a god lives who's known for being good with the bow. So you know,
Yeah.
like it's loose, but it doesn't feel like they're just like
Yeah,
just
it's
grabbing
the kind of
something
thing
random.
where, like, if you click on Ydalir and, like, see it, there's an image of the god who lives there standing on a frozen lake with a bow. So, like, it's the kind of connection that probably, like, our art designers at Konami were, like, looking at Norse runes and were like, oh, what does this one mean? U-tree. Well, it's some U-tree related stuff. And then, you know, found that guy.
I hear U tree and I can think of Yay bow or U bow from fucking. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
but it's a material. And yes,
Yeah, like,
chat
it's-
brought this up. Freezing Curses is semied in Master Duel and nowhere else.
it's a very loose combination, but it also feels totally natural of them to have gone through the same like process of finding things.
And this is another one where much like I think we didn't mention it, but Flashing Fire has a very good like art for what it does. You know, it's you shooting a guy, it's you know, targeted destruction. Freezing Curse's unique effect says target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this turn, then banish the top 3. So this is, you know, imperm basically, but without the columns, but also you banish 3. Again, Freezing Curse is another one that's very common because as a quick play spell, that is, you know, just basically free interruption on a monster effect. It is just
like,
effect failure.
You're freezing you're freezing the boss as he's trying to start his mechanic. You're saying, don't do that. Let's not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Also,
very good
apologies
artwork.
for having not much to say. It's mainly I don't like runic, so most of my things would just be like with
Yeah.
this card. I'm like, man, fuck those 2 birds.
They're so cute, but
Oh,
also so
furious.
annoying. So let's talk about a card we mentioned earlier. Spoilers, it's not a very good card, which is a shame
Into
because
the
actually it's
blender
got
you
one of the
go.
most interesting arts. It's Golden Droplet. Rune of the Golden Droplet. This uses the X-shaped rune, which represents gift, and as you can see from all these many gold rings, hopefully we have some God of War Ragnarok kids in the audience. This is clearly a reference to Dropnir, the ring that splits into 9 copies of itself every like 9 minutes or something. So if I understand what's going on here correctly, basically Mardell, you know, boss of light, who, by the way, once again, talking about being Final Fantasy coded, even though this set came out like a month, within a month of Shadowbringers, so like they can't actually have influenced each other because that's not how dev time works. But it's funny. This is what Mardell looks like, to remind everybody. Titania ass looking ass. But I think the idea is that instead of actually fighting the one boss that is a giant hot woman, the player just gives her a ring and is like, we're cool, bye. You just bribe all the fairies. I do like all the different ways they wear it. Like, obviously, the biggest lady who's supposed to be Mardell can wear it, like, as, you know, it's small enough to be, like, a pinky ring, or big enough to be a pinky ring for her, but, like, one of them is wearing it like a bracelet, one of them has it almost like a crown, one of them is small enough to wear it as, like, a belt. It's cute. Great detail.
I'm looking at the one at the bottom, like middle, and all I can think of is like she's excited, but also head empty, no thoughts. It's the face I'm getting from that.
Yeah. No, great. It's a great speedrun strat. To
Yeah,
just be
so
like,
you guys already know this card banishes the top 4 cards of your deck. So what could be so awful that it counterbalances that, Omega?
So its unique effect is your opponent draws 1 card, then you banish the top 4 cards of their deck. This is bad. This is like a reverse upstart goblin. Like, hey, I'll let you draw a card, but then I'm gonna slap you. Like I said, this is a super rare in Master Duel for some reason. This is a terrible effect. You're literally giving your opponent cards that are not banished. Like, obviously, this can chain with Dispelling because your opponent is adding a card to their hand by drawing one outside of their draw phase. But, like, damn, that's really complex for something that just gives your opponent card advantage. Obviously, it's still an instant fusion, so, like, in a pinch, you can use it, like, run 1 or 2 copies to make up for the fact that, like, some of your good spells may be, like, limited, but...
Yeah, like, it is an extra instant fusion, so it's not unplayable, but you're never activating that other effect, basically.
Also, this is funny. This one tells a story. Our next one alphabetically is Runic Slumber. So in this card art, you can see Moonin pointing to the cursed ring.
I got the ring in the mouth of a worm.
Yeah, which is, I believe, where you get the magic ring drop near. It's in one of their guys' horde. It shows Jormungandr, but I think in Norse mythology, it's a reference to
Fafnir?
Yeah. But you've got a harp, you've got the birch rune, you've got, like I said, Moonin being like, hey, buddy, there's the thing you need. Hey, listen. But yeah, so you just magically put the dragon to sleep and you steal his magical ring, and also probably pocket a lot of gold.
The Norse origin listed here lists Bragi's harp, who is a god of poetry and who is famous for using a harp.
Yeah.
But I don't see any connotation with birch to that. I think they just went,
We just like, well, we need a harp. What room do we pick? I don't know. The one that looks like a bee is cool.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be too much here unless I'm missing something.
Yeah. So Slumber's actually one of their more interesting ones. This is semi-limited Master Duel, by the way. But it says, target a face-up monster on the field. The next time that monster be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed, but also it can't attack. Then after applying that effect, banish 3. So Slumber is it's like a lot of forbidden cards. It's a stun tool, but also like a control tool, but also gives protection. So it's got multiple uses. You can use it to protect your own things because you're playing Runic, so you're going to skip your next battle phase after you activate this card anyway. So it can be used to protect your guys, but also it can be used to prevent your opponent from just punching your face in because usually you don't have a lot of monsters on board in this deck.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most flexible Runic card in the deck because it basically does 4 different things on top of being an instant fusion.
Yeah. Like, there are multiple different use cases here. You can use it to prevent an OTK. You could use it on an opponent's utility monster who has some kind of effect that's attack-related. You can just use it as, a forbidden, blank-out destruction effect. It works on battle or card effect, and it's a quick play, so you can use it, conditionally when you need it. So there's a lot of real fun stuff there. Our next card probably doesn't need any introduction. Even though it's not one of their best spells. This is Runic Smiting Storm. Hey, can you guess what this is?
I couldn't say.
We've got this hammer with the thorn rune on it.
It's the one that summons skeletons.
The Thuriaz
It's
rune.
the Necromancer hammer.
Yeah.
The Necroneer.
No, it's clearly supposed to be Mjolnir. It's a
is.
hammer with the T rune on it, the Thuriaz, which is associated with Thor. It's Mjolnir. It's Mjolnir, and apparently you're using it to fucking blow up. Apparently Hela is telling you good luck, I'm behind 1,000 skeletons, and then the player just goes, bet. I love these little guys, by the way. Like, I'm kind of sad that these... I know it doesn't fit the themes of any of the 2 decks we've got, but I love the little monster designs. These skeletons are so good. Like, with their big fangs and their little horns. These are good skeletons.
Yeah. I like that one you can clearly see in the middle who's just like, oh, fuck, I've been caught.
Yeah. I'm just like, whoa! No, it's great. So, Smiting Storm's another weird one. Its unique effect is banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck up to the number of cards they control. So this is technically your possibly biggest mill, You know, if your opponent has a literally full board, you could be looking at, you know, banish 11.
Yeah.
No, it would be 12.
Oh yeah, EMZ. Yeah, no, that's right. They could have actually control up to 12 cards. Yeah, so
Just theoretically, you had banished 12.
hypothetically a banished 12. But if your opponent doesn't control any cards, its primary effect doesn't do anything. So it's an interesting one. Once again, it's still an instant fusion, so you probably still play it. This definitely seems like a more of a niche one of for just like, well, my opponent has a lot of cards they control, so I'm gonna hit him with the big banish.
Yeah.
They are correct. It's 13 if we've been extra linked.
Which would actually normally really fuck over Runic, so I could see somebody trying it.
Yeah.
But this is here for if you're able to finally be able to get a board against your Runic opponent, but then they say, okay, cool, that looks nice. Anyway, banish like 6 cards from your top of your deck.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna banish the last 10 cards from your deck past turn.
Yeah, like it's a great late game card because presumably your opponent is like slowly building up advantage to get through your stun and control tools, and so you can use Smiting Storm to finish them off. But if you also don't have other shit, again, this is not helping you, so you can easily be cooked. So it's very situational. Like I said, if you're going first and you draw this card, you're just like, well, yeah.
You know what? I just realized if they were going for the whoever's playing Runic is the quote-unquote main character, they succeeded. I fucking hate going against the main character. It sucks.
Yeah, Runic is a deck that's gotten up to a lot of science. And so our last one, which is another very good card, this is Runic Tip. Our last spell card, I should say. So clearly showing you, like, the upgrade tree, like all of your runes you've unlocked and the upgrades. You can see, you know, Hammer and then Hammer 2. You can see Harp, Gloves, a couple of different gun runes, which looks like it's got some fucking forks up there, unlocking your sword.
I want to play this game.
You're on Sword 2.
Yeah. The bow upgrades, and, like, it looks like, you know, the hammer has room for another separate fork. So yeah, this is your skill tree, which is the rune that Lopter gives you, and then also your summoned sword, which has the rune for Tear.
I just see the dumb thing of the beginning of this game hypothetically is you don't have any HUD and you don't have any stuff, so you just die, and then you wake up in the fountain. You're given this, it just gives you your HUD and all your shit.
Yeah, probably.
Well, what are you talking about? This is clearly a VR game.
I think it implies that the weapon we're giving is actually Laviton, but Laviton is also the, like, boss monster version of Lopter.
Yeah. This one is very clearly Tearfing, or representing Tearfing, because it's like...
Oh, Tearfing?
Yeah, it's got Tear's rune on it, and it's a sword.
Okay.
But you can see that there are sword upgrades with different symbols, so it may be that, because that's a different rune up there above that sword. Let me actually see if the trivia page says which one that is.
I got like a two-handed sword, I guess.
Hey, you know what would be a fun idea? Lopter gives you the thing, and it's basically just so, like, you get powers, you upgrade and everything, and then he's like, okay, cool, thanks for the power up, and then becomes
that's an interesting one. That would be a good... I mean, not that Runic needs support, because it's still really good, but according to the concept art, this crystal tip that Lopter give you is supposed to be the tip of Gungnir.
Oh.
So that probably means that there's some kind of spear rune, like these little bits at the end are supposed to represent Gungnir, and that's what the crystal also symbolizes. So, like, that's neat. I'd love to see that.
Honestly, I kind of like that there's like 2 tiers for each rune that exist. There's one thing he's not done. No, there's the harp there.
Yeah, the harp's down there.
I like that you get to see that there's basically, like, for the gun, there was a brace that was just a pistol, and then there's ones with the rifle. So it's like
Lopter fucking killed Odin.
All the arts, I guess, of, like, the tier 2 stuff.
Yeah, because you can see, like, normal sword or knife, and then you see this sword that's being summoned is like, that's pretty good. And then there's an even cooler sword with wings. So, like, it's a neat one. Also, this is another case of where the art, like, meshes really well with its effect. Runic Tip's effect is just add a runic card to your hand except Tip, then banish 1 card from your opponent's deck. So this is your Universal Searcher. Yeah, it just
like
searches.
This is the one you're probably always playing as the regular effect, because you, like, just you're thinning your deck and putting more runics in your graveyard to shuffle.
Yeah, And it can, set up for a fountain play. If you're going first, you can just be like, okay, add fountain. So yeah, Tip is a good card. And then that's all of our spells to date, anyway. Like I said, I appreciate that art-wise we've got room for more of these things, but like we mentioned earlier, Runic literally just got a top, last week. So, they don't really need legacy support. That's one of those things that, kind of disappoints me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes is, clearly we have more story stuff to do, right? We have more concepts we could fill out, and there's so many other effects Runic spells could do because of the way they're designed.
This is why sometimes I think we should just
But this deck is good.
This is why I think we should just make more story manga instead of making more support cards tell stories sometimes.
I mean, they can sometimes be cyclical, and I do think that, Konami's ramping up some of their media production, but it's definitely, just seeing, what all the Runic stuff does in, an anime, a manga, or a game would not be the same as, seeing it, told through the card art storytelling, It's one of those things where, I wouldn't mind seeing more Runic cards to see, what they look like and what they represent, especially because the vibe is that, as you would expect, Lopter is the double secret actual boss. He betrays you at the end and becomes Leviathan in the bonus stage. So what's the reward for, clearing the bonus boss, right? What does it mean? But it's one of those things where, absolutely Konami should not be printing more Runic cards other than maybe to, ban Fountain and produce a new copy of Fountain. A field spell that does something similar to Fountain, but not as busted. Maybe a hard once per turn effect, Konami? But, they don't need it, so it's one of those weird things. It's I suspect that's why we haven't seen the Scissor Sister out of Labyrinth yet. Because, we've seen some translations of the Labyrinth stuff in the art book. Very great, by the way. They have little fangs. We show that off with Arias. The artist's comment about Lovely Lady Labyrinth is great. What's the exact phrasing? It's I'll find it and read the text block to you, chat.
For lovely Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I have the one for the castle. And according to legend and rumor, this castle was cursed, and the curse of the labyrinth would never be broken unless the true treasure, lying deep within the castle, was brought back. But according to others, the master of the castle was an immensely gorgeous princess who was delicate as white thread and ephemeral as the moon. That night, a knight stepped foot into the castle swarming with rumors. That thing?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the artist's comments from Artworks Labyrinth. Here it is. I've got it. Which I don't know if the artist is fully credited, but their comment in the art book says, "For some reason, I like women with an unhealthy look in their face. She works really hard. The request is for a white female demon that rules over a castle, and I racked my brains over the design for her wings. At first, the design was somewhat more rigid, but when I decided to make them more lace-like and transparent, I thought, I must be a genius." Also, by the way, the artist ships Night-chan and Lovely Lady. They say, "I'm of the mind that of her having an emotional link towards Night-chan is the way to go. I wonder if we're going to get a Night-chan card or some info. I'm patiently waiting." But yeah, it's a great line. And they've got a lot of little details there. But
give this person a promotion.
I suspect that the reason why we have not seen some of those cards, unless, you could totally make the Night-chan, the anti-Labyrinth archetype. You could make them counterplay to traps.
Yeah, I feel like they'd only be one card.
Oh, no, there's plenty you could do with that. The Knight's equipments, you could make their kind of, you could give them a lot of their own spell traps, or you could just make them a singular counterplay card, kind of like a Denko Sekka.
Their field spell would be like the Adventurous Town they venture out from.
But like I said, the art hints that the artist totally has the full design for the one with the scissors and or hedge trimmers. But I suspect that they have not come out because Labyrinth doesn't need any help. They printed
the last
transaction rollback.
The last thing Labyrinth needs is more support.
Yeah.
What is the whole transaction rollback thing anyway?
Oh, do you not transaction rollback? It's a pretty good card. We can take it.
Oh, okay. I thought people actually meant like actual like deck.
No, it's a card called Transaction Rollback.
Okay.
I think it might have been in the. Was it in the anime first? I don't know. Transaction Rollback's a normal trap that says pay half your LP, target a normal trap in your opponent's graveyard, except rollback. Its effect becomes this card's effect. But also, its graveyard effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard, pay half your life points, target a normal trap in your graveyard, except rollback. This effect becomes that activation. You can only use one effect per turn and only once that turn. So, it's basically like a trap trick, but you don't have to banish the extra copies. You just pick a normal trap you've already used, pay half your life points, and do it again. Strictly speaking, it says because it says this effect becomes that card's activation effect, I believe it dodges cost.
Always fun when cards can do that.
Yeah, so you still have to pay half your life points, but we learned this from Solemn Judgment. The only life point that matters is your last one. But yeah, I mean, saying they just got Arias and MD is important, yes, but like Arias has been out in the real card game since Agov, so it's been like 6 months. So like I said, they don't need more support necessarily, but we're doing some interesting things. But let's run through that extra deck, because as we mentioned, every runic card is basically an instant fusion. They let you summon a runic monster from your extra deck to the EMZ.
It doesn't have any main deck monsters, right?
No, which is very funny because it means that technically you cannot summon these guys normally without some shenanigans. So this is our first one, Hugin. Hugin the Runic Wings. Hugin of the Rune Wings. So Hugin is a light fairy fusion, level 2, 0/0, and technically has the materials of 2 runic monsters. That does exist, but because you can only insta them to the EMZ, the chances you would have 2 runic monsters like out on the board, very low. It does, I guess, technically mean that for the mirror match, you can pack Super Poly for the funny. But otherwise, this card can basically only be made by instant fusioning it out.
I have seen some runic players like be able to bring back some of their cards or monsters from the graveyard as well. So
that's true. Yes, if you actually let them go to grave, you can do like necrofusion type stuff. But yeah, it's still an odd one where like I actually kind of like this approach where like hypothetically you can summon this the normal way, but usually you cheat it out. Anyway, Hugin is the one you see the most, probably, because of her effects. And also, again, to say what these guys are, basically they're described as companions, familiars you get to pick up in the game. So, Hugin and Moonin are obviously named after Odin's ravens.
Yep.
But they are, cute little fairies in this. But they are, described as, you know
what they should do?
Yeah, what?
Remember how like there was that series of cards that was playing fun on all the bad cards? They should ban Hugin and then have a new runic support spell card. And it's whatever evil boss, and it's just got Hugin in a little cage.
Oh, in a little cage? That would be funny. But the way they're described is by exploring the temple of the Raven deity, you can find 2 imprisoned fairies, and if you help them, they accompany you as familiar. So just, you rescue them from where they're imprisoned, they follow you around and help you with stuff. Giving you, hints and things. So Hugin says, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can discard a card, add a runic field spell from your deck to your hand. I love this future proofing because it means that Konami can ban Fountain and just come up with a new one. But yeah, this just auto-searches your field spell. If another cards you control will be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, return it to the extra deck. That is not optional, by the way. If this card is destroyed on the field, it returns to the extra deck. So they recycle
Yes,
themselves.
in the graveyard anyway.
Yeah. You can banish it to, which is not destruction. You just choose to banish it to prevent destruction of other cards.
It's banished, and then they bring back the banished card to a non-EMZ zone.
Yeah, you can do some shenanigans there. Which also, by the way, would mean that if you do that kind of special summon return, it is not triggering its search effect, but still. This is a pretty good card, like I said. It just searches you. It searches Fountain, it protects Fountain, and if your opponent just runs it over, which they will do because she's 0/0, you just put her back, which means you can do another search, actually. This card is like the I'm not owned.
You're owned.
Because anytime you run her over, she just goes back, and then, oh hey, guess what? All the runic spells have this special summon on.
Yeah.
So she just.
By the way, I want to say that is hilarious that, like, her return to the extra deck, that is a mandatory effect. Even if you wanted to keep Hugin in your graveyard for some shenanigans, you're not allowed to do that. She goes back. And so the other one is Runic Wings Munin. Art-wise, I don't think there's a lot to say about Hugin. We've seen her a few times. She's got little raven wings. You can see the rune for wealth on there. I do like her little like raven beak hair clips, which also look a lot like that Gungear tip icon, which of course, being the Ravens of Odin, is appropriate. I do find it funny that there are some very Zelda-ass fairies floating around this tiny fairy woman, just to rub it home. But our lad,
that for some
Munin...
reason. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, finish.
Despite her dress and everything, she's got like actual like armor-looking boots.
Which is interesting because though he's obviously very tiny, Munin is absolutely a little anime twink. He has no shirt. He's wearing just an open vest. He's got big poofy pants, and then just normal shoes. Regular shoes.
Is that you?
It's wearing little shoes.
I do like the little like raven tufts at the end of his pants. That's a fun detail. You can see that his like the clip that's like holding his vest together again is that kind of Gungear icon. He's just, chilling on your pack, having a fun old time. So Munin is a level 3 Light Fairy Fusion, 0 attack, 2000 defense, same materials, 2 runic monsters. If this card is special summon from the extra deck, you can discard a card, add a runic continuous spell from your deck to your hand, which currently is just Allure. This is why you don't see Munin nearly as much. I appreciate that they built in an in-engine way for you to basically play any regular runic spell and get to your non-quick play spells, but because Allure isn't that good, you don't usually make Munin. Munin does have some other effects, though. He says when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a runic card you control or a set card you control, you can banish the card, negate, and destroy. And then once per turn during the end phase, you can gain 1,000 LP.
Yeah, he's used mainly to protect Fountain and other nonsense.
He can do negates for Fountain. He's a good card to like do if you set up plays. I also appreciate that's a soft once per turn, so if you can fish... Munin does not auto-return to the extra deck, so if you re-summon Munin, like you're playing like a one-of, Monster Reborn or some other like revival trick, you can play Munin in your main monster zones and still gain LP, possibly multiple times per turn. So yeah, it's a time card. It's just funny that like Munin is clearly the extra spice that like after you've already got everything you need, you can make a Munin and like go into some stuff. If you can clear your EMZ correctly. Because you don't need the search effect, but the negation is good, and so is the gaining LP because you're playing a stall deck. They're correctly. This is one of those cases where Konami is correctly assuming that you're going to be bleeding life points in this deck. So they gave you a built-in recovery tool. And next we have our 2 wolves. Let me see. These guys were added later, quickly, right? Yeah.
Clearly, for when you need to heal, he's the guy. He's the thing that's giving you some slight regen off to the side.
Yeah, that makes sense. That like Munin is keeping you alive a little bit, because at the very least we haven't seen any healing runes. Hey, there's a card that probably wouldn't break Runic. Give them their own Poison of the Old Man. Give them a banish a card off the top of your opponent's deck and you heal 800 LP.
What's the worst that could happen?
That probably wouldn't do anything crazy.
Oh man, I wonder who these two puppets are meant to be.
So you've got okay, yes. So Gary came out first. Freaky was later in Darkwing Blast. Freaky was our classic +1 card. Oh, let's do Gary first, actually. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll do the smart thing. I'll just put both wolves on screen. There's no reason not to. There's 2 doggos. So we have Gary and Freaky. It's just, hey, guess what? Literally just Gary and Freaky, the 2 wolves that accompany Odin. This is like the easiest reference in the world. So you've got,
Considering you have
Night Dog, Day Dog.
Considering you basically have Odin's, I guess the center of Odin's spear, you basically have all the shit.
Yeah. I'm especially because, Lopter is your helper, but also the secret final boss. I'm going to guess that either you are a stand-in for Odin, because I don't think we actually see Har referenced directly. You get power from his fountain. Or it's supposed to be that kind of thing where, like, Odin is secretly helping you, because that's a thing he does do a lot. He just, shows up places. That would be a very funny,
Omega.
like, level 10 fusion is, like, just old man Odin in disguised Grimnir.
What they've done here is clearly Lopter has pulled a whole Knights of the Old Republic on you. You are Odin, you just don't remember it.
That could be a funny twist.
I mean, that would fit as a Lopter thing, as being like, oh, I was hoping that you would, like, kill all the other gods, so just that I kill you, I'm basically in charge now.
So you've got, hungry wolves with you, Gary and Freaky. They are both of the Runic Fangs. So Gary is a Dark Beast Fusion, level 4. 0 attack, 1000 defense. 2 Runic monsters. Gary the Runic Fang says it cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card is special summon from your extra deck, target a non-quick play Runic spell in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, target a card in the field, destroy it. So Gary is a recovery tool. Makes sense, this is one of your initial wave of support. This lets you get back Allure or Fountain if they are popped, like if you ran out of protection for them. It can't be destroyed by card effects, so it makes a good play to go in if your opponent is, like, getting ready to get rid of stuff via card effect. And then also, it's just when your opponent runs it over, you get a pop back, which can prevent you from the die. Good work. And then Freaky is a level 5 Dark Beast Fusion, and it actually has 2000 attack. Holy shit. 2000 attack, 0 defense. When an attack is declared involving this card in the EMZ, banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. That is a you can, technically, I should say. Neither player does take battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, target a Runic Quick Play spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of Freaky once per turn. So, it's very interesting that, like, they gave Runic an offensive tool, but then they were like, no, you don't inflict battle damage. You can use Freaky as kind of like a battle phase removal spell, but you cannot win via life point damage normally in pure Runic. It's very interesting that way. But it does turn attack declaration into more of your millstone strategy. I do not think Freaky is very popular just because, like I said, you can't actually win the game by attacking unless your opponent is almost out of cards. But it is still a tool because it's very easy to get run over with 0 defense. And then it just lets you reborn just add back a Runic Quick Play. So it's still got recycling. You don't need to worry about putting it in attack mode because it says neither player takes damage. So, like, you don't need to worry about your opponent, like, summoning a big guy and running it over.
Yep. They're pretty solid.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Both wolves are good.
I find his just leaf shoulder pads just hilarious.
Yeah, it's a fun one. And then, so you get, fairies to guide you. You get wolves to help you with attacks. You get dog meats. Gee, hero of Runic, why does Lopter let you have 2 dog meats? And then, the very recent ad, we have Sleipnir. You get horse, Hans.
Inside you, there are 2 wolves.
Also true. Sleipnir, the Runic main.
You know what? I think we talked about this like ages ago when we went over generator.
Yeah.
I appreciate the design color choice because that's just Loptir.
Yeah, which is appropriate for Sleipnir, obviously. Also, I like that they drawn all of Sleipnir's legs. But it's a good design symbolism. So yes, this is clearly you get magic haunts. You get a horse. So I mentioned before, our last doggo Freki was 5. Sleipnir jumps straight to 9. This is a level 9 light beast fusion, 15/15. So not huge
Almost
stats.
like
Sleipnir's a big lad. Sleipnir's a big boy.
Yeah.
Hey, what are the normal levels for generators? 9?
Yes, 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny how that shapes up. I do also like that. Obviously, again, this is funny. You get a magical horse in your first-person RPG. Its materials are still two runic monsters. It says during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, target phase of monster opponent controls, banish both it and this card until the end phase. That's right. This is SP Little Knight at home.
I just had a thought. So
it's also a Farfa, basically.
Due to the Skyrim comparison, Loptir is looking on as he's seeing his son being treated like Shadowmere was in fucking Oblivion and Skyrim. Why are they killing the horse to put stuff inside of it?
If a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon a runic token. A Fairy Light level 4 with 15/15 stats in attack position. You can only use each effective runic main once per turn. This is actually, I don't know that you needed it, but this actually gives you tools to go into your fusions by giving you extra runic monsters because tokens can be used as fusion material, though you cannot use them as Xyz summon. It also does technically give you a way to do some interesting link climbing in runic that you can't do normally because it gives you extra materials, though obviously a lot of more modern Link cards do mention that you cannot use tokens.
It's also another fun generator reference because generator tokens.
Yeah, generators generate a lot of tokens, so it's a cool synergy card. I don't think it's necessary at all, though. Again, it being basically a Farfa type card, I also joke about SP Little Knight in archetype. That is certainly very useful. During your main phase or during your opponent's battle phase, just banish a couple cards.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sorry.
Also, I do believe, by the way, that would get it out of the EMZ.
It's not meta defining, which is good because Runic didn't need it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good card, but it's not great. People couldn't see, but I literally just shook my head when I said that.
This is the kind of support I like, where Sleipnir is technically another tool in your toolbox, but it doesn't actually make the deck win any better. It just gives you new interesting things to do without breaking the deck even more, and it's fun.
He's another tool, but not the multi-tool.
Also, hey, while this card is still, for some reason, I think it's because it only has one printing so far, and it was a secret rare. This card's only $10. And I think that maybe actually be lower because it's only listing the first edition prices. Whereas, let's see what the Wikipedia says how expensive SP Little Knight is. Yes, the low prices for first edition is $98. This came out, by the way, SP Little Knight came out in the same set.
I'm looking at Sleipnir, and the only thing I can think of is just Loptir going, okay, boy, I need to make sure you look good for your first day on the job.
Make sure he's super shiny. Yeah.
Here's your lunchbox.
It's a fun little song. But that's Runic. It's honestly, like we said, it's a very slimlined archetype. You've got a total of 5 names in the extra. You have, and then, what is it? Is it exactly 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wait,
6,
guys,
7,
I know.
8.
There is no main deck monsters because you are the main deck monster.
I mean, yeah. That is the conceit. It is very interesting. I've just now realized there are only 8 quick play spells, when 9 is the theme number for this thing. Does make me wonder if maybe they were cooking with some stuff and just have not yet because of how strong the deck is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It'll be the final card where it's Loptir coming to take all your powers.
Yeah. It's the secret rune you use to defeat the Leviathan boss fight, the bonus boss.
That too.
Obviously, I think this deck has room to grow, and honestly, this is a weird thought. Rune could probably use more named cards that are more mid, because that would let you fill out the deck a little bit without necessarily cramming in extra engine stuff. If you wanted to like make more pure runic strategies work, you absolutely have to give them a different continuous spell.
Sorry, Omega. I was like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, let's tap back into the failed portrayal, and I got flashbanged.
Oh, you tapped back into failed portrayal. It happens.
Yeah, just there he is.
He's just chilling.
He's just got a little guy hanging out.
Totally not M16. Sorry.
But yeah, we do have some, as they say in the biz, new cards bog fam.
Oh yeah, Wicked Woods.
So,
Wicked White.
there. First of all, we do have a new OCG set they announced. Is this another core set? Yes, it is a new core booster. Yeah, it's White Woods. So the next OCG set after Infinite Forbidden is called Rage of the Abyss. We can only assume that there will be water in this set.
Guys,
Possibly.
we can call it the Rota.
And that will actually be the acronym, I think. That's very funny. Actually, it might just be like RGAB or something, because like Legacy of Destruction is like LEDE.
Oh.
But we'll see.
I did find a funny meme I put in the Trad games related to this archetype.
Which one? White Woods?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also want to bring up, because it came up in chat earlier, and also people are doom posting about it for kind of no reason. We have announced new Tenpai Dragon support.
Oh.
They're gonna get a new monster, Tenpai Dragon Genroku. Genroku is a level 3 fire dragon. If it's added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it as a tuner and increase its level by 1. So it gives you more tuner potential for this deck. And also, quick effect, you can tribute this card to special summon any Tenpai dragon from your deck except Genroku, but you can't special summon for the rest of this turn except dragons. I've seen some people be like, oh, this is not okay. There's literally 3 other Tenpais, and you were already playing 3 copies of them. This doesn't really do anything other than make the deck a little more consistent.
It's just a consistency tool, yeah.
Yeah. I will say I'm not actually sure. So if you have the field spell up, it says your Tenpai monsters are unaffected by activated monster effects, I think, during your main phase 1. So I think you can't Ash this. And because it's a quick effect to tribute, you can't, like, imperm it. So, like, that's a little scary that, like, this card will basically always fire its effect to summon from deck. But, like, this actually is a side philosophy thing I want to talk about. I've seen some people on X.com be like, oh, when, we argue that Max C having, like, a 90% play rate, that it has to be banned, but nobody talks shit about Ash Blossom at 87%. I have a counter-argument. The only reason why Ash Blossom is played that high is because it is a card that stops Max C, which is in 92% of decks or whatever. Basically, 100% of decks playing Max C.
Need to quickly say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I just saw a thing in chat. Teaser, yeah, the Dragon Lock, whatever will I do? What that means is, whoever is playing it can't summon out a very fucking annoying synchro monster, like, say, Baron.
Yes, I will say that actually, because this is a synchro deck based on the battle phase, that does actually matter. Loth brings up a good point. It does mean that you can't go into Barone, you can't go into Sword Soul. What are other good generic synchros you play these days that aren't dragons?
Psychic Game Punish. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you have. You might have the math for Pep. I think you do odd numbers. But like it's not really a lock because there is like a whole shitload of good dragon synchros, but it does box you out of a few other choices that I think matter.
Yeah, because anytime it's like, yeah, here's my synchro deck, Baron.
Like, hey, Loth, you're gonna hate this, because you like White Woods Ascetics. Guess what? Their primary turn 1 combo is summon one of their big in-archetype monster and 1 Barone.
Well,
Yes, I
you know what?
emotional.
If I ever play it, I'm gonna play it suboptimally then, which is just pure whitewood.
Some Sword Soul lines lock you into worms, but not all of them. You don't have the Sword Soul monsters themselves are generic synchros, so you can play them in other decks. Is the thing.
Sword Soul Yang Zing can go fucking die in a fire.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But like I said, to go back to the Ashe conversation, Ashe is played a lot in Master Duel, but it's not played at necessarily a super high level in the TCG right now, because like there's actually like an argument for, well, if you play Ash Blossom, you have your opponents on Snake Eye Fire Kings, they just make Hita, and you just gave them a free material. Like they make Hita, link Hita, and get an extra monster on board. So like, and there are several cases where like Tenpais are just immune to Ash Blossom. So like, Ash is a card that is pretty universally good, but because it's so ubiquitous, a lot of decks just instinctively play around it. I don't actually think that like Ash is a card that is necessarily ban-worthy. You would probably see its usage level go down if you banned Max C and you started importing more cards of these like faster. But yeah, you know, can dodge Imperm because it's just a quick effect and it tributes itself, so you can't like Imperm in response. That's rough, but I don't know if on its own this necessarily breaks anything. What matters is that they go a big Ungus Bungus. A lot of people are freaking about their new trap card, Sangen Kaiho. This is a normal trap that says you can only use each of its effects once per turn. During the main phase, if all monsters you control are fire dragons, minimum 1, so you do have to have a board presence, and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, end this main phase. End this main phase, by the way.
It is a card that I don't think by itself moved the line on Tenpai Dragon, but it is a card that should not be printed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like...
I'm sorry, does it say Fire Dragon or Dragon?
Fire Dragon, specifically. Min 1.
Okay.
So, like...
Fuck.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I don't necessarily think we should be doing more phase skip cards, but I think MBT actually said this in his own new cards video that came out today on the channel. I don't actually think this is going to, like, necessarily swing. Like, Tenpai was already probably going to be good. This gives them a going first play. Like, before, they did not have a good go first play, so this has a way to force your opponent into the battle phase.
I just wasn't, like, it's like, oh, okay, here's a new dragon for you to use in this archetype. By the way, the quote-unquote fusion is a trap card for it. Oh, like, when you get to see it in action.
Yeah.
Combined with the other dragons.
And also it says, if it's in your graveyard, you can, if the 3 more attacks are declared this turn, you can banish this card to the graveyard, draw a card, special summon any number of Tenpai from your hand. So, like, it lets you, like, summon one guy to, like, Kaiser Coliseum. I assume that that's a thing that, the Tenpai Dragons do anyway, which is why Kaiser is, like, a card they are playing in the OCG, is, like, you sit on one guy and then you get to battle phase and summon a bunch more guys. So, like, that's a little rude. But the idea of, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because to channel my MBT isms a little, I'm just like, this is, maybe I'm just taking too much of a professional hater status, but part of me feels a kind of glee when I'm like, oh, so, you know, Yugi thinkers have been saying for literal years, oh, the battle phase doesn't matter. It's the battle tricks are bad. And we're out here with a deck that, like, is forcing you to reconsider the battle phase. They want you to go to battle and work with that. And I'm like,
people
I don't like the main
turn
phase skip, but yeah, a lot of people
say turn skip. This is just, hey, no preparation. Fight now.
It is a card that if you see searched, I think there are ways to play around. Because, like, it's you know, it's got its activation situation. You have to control more monsters than your like, literally, if your opponent has one Fire Dragon on board and you know they've set this card, you just have to make it so that once you control 2 monsters, you know you're ready to go to battle. And I think that there are ways to play around it. Hey, this card's still super Lightning Stormable. They can't flip it if you just play first card Lightning Storm, you know? Like, there are outs. Obviously, Justra, the out is not, like, the best solution, but a lot of people, I think, are doom posting about this, and, like, it's not even a turn skip. It's just go to battle phase, and hypothetically, you can go to main phase 2. And then people are like, but what about Terminal World? Terminal World is a fucking unsearchable continuous spell card.
Like, hold on. Also, doesn't this card specifically say skip main phase 1?
No, it says end this main phase.
I mean,
During
look,
the main phase, end this main phase. So go to battle phase.
So, I mean,
at
you
some
can
point,
also...
somebody's gonna make a Terminal World Tenpai Dragon deck. It's not gonna be good.
My brain went, someone's gonna throw this into fucking Blue Eyes and go like, yeah, let me just do one of the transplant surgery things to make all my Blue Eyes fire dragons.
Yeah, it's true. You could do that. You could do some... I think it being Fire Dragon lets you do some funny stuff. But, like...
Wait, I know. Play this with the new Dragon Ruler.
Yeah, it's very funny. I mean, I think you play Blaster in Tenpai Dragon just so you have, like, pops and more guys. More big chungus.
We need
they
more
like
dudes.
7s. But yeah, like I said, it's a card where, in principle, I don't know if Konami should be printing this. It's like that one Mayakashi trap, right? Which just is like, skill drain forever. Tribute a guy. Your opponent gets fucking cold waved. And it's like, okay, Konami, don't do that. But I don't actually think this is going to end the game. Literally, Terminal World is 3 copies of a card in your deck that you can't search. Yes, you are going to see people Terminal World you out of the game sometimes, where it's just like, okay, Sungun Kaiho, skip main phase 1, you only get your battle phase. If you try to go to main phase 2, Terminal World is up, so your main phase 2 is skipped. That sucks, but, like, that's not something you can guarantee every game.
Hey, Omega, speaking of new cards, I saw a fun post on Twitter that I'm going to share in the Portrayal chat.
Oh, yeah, which one? Oh, yeah. Also, though, I'll pull up the card art for this guy, because I'm just kind of chatting shit right now. I'm yapping. But they nope, I did not copy correctly. God damn it.
Slipped you again!
Copy image and save image should not be next to each other, but hey, here you can see the watermark. I grabbed the big version so you can see it's effective.
Yeah!
We retrained Poke Draco. We now have Dora Draco.
Very funny that it's Dora Draco when it's being released alongside the Tenpai Dragon.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's got a fucking band-aid on his head.
Yeah, he's great. He's a little
You're
guy.
playing He Was Ran Over.
He is a little new level 3 Fire Dragon. You can only use its first effect once per turn. If it's normaled, add a level 4 or lower Fire Dragon from your deck to your hand. So once again,
Which is Genroku.
Yes. It's any of the Tenpais, actually. They're all level 4 or
Oh,
lower.
is it?
Yeah. They're 3s and 4s. So, like, this is a Tenpai Dragon card without being a Tenpai Dragon card. Also, once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a Fire Dragon, send it to your graveyard, and this card gains 1,000 attack for each Dora Draco you have. Otherwise, put it at the bottom of the deck. I don't think that does anything, but it's funny. You do have some revival effect, so I guess it being a mill could work, but yeah, it's just a cute little guy. It gives you a normal summon in deck to add more searching.
I mean, it's a fire monster with 200 defense.
True, it is a rekindling target.
Look,
It'd be really funny to summon 3 Dora Draco and pop off each of their effects.
You'd have some
And now
very
you've got-
big Doras.
Get 3
basically-
9K Dora Dracos.
you've got essentially what is that the meme I've been seeing around since they did that collaboration with Sanrio, where Kaiba's got the 3 Sanrio Blue Eyes. He's got 3 adorable big fuck off dragons. Look, I'm a sucker for cute things. This guy is adorable. I want to pick him up and hug him.
Oh, also, like, I should warn chat right now. You should know me by now, guys. I literally played the original Trident Dragon in our Prog series when we got to the Synchro era. It was a great card. I did not win very much from it, but that's because I'm bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. You're going to see me in Master Duel Trident Dragoning. I will be a Trident Dragon Andy. I'm going to be out here tenpying you people's asses. Like, I'll go there. I love Synchro Dragons.
He even tried to run Tenpai and the new Flame Swordsman stuff together at one point.
Yeah.
Is there like a machine duplication but for small dragons?
Oh, is there?
Because I was wondering, because the way it's said, you want all 3 on the board, so because then they each become 3K, 3K. So basically you can OTK with 3 of these if you just do the middle effect once.
Yeah.
You specifically said small dragons. My brain went, yes, the plush line has come forward.
Yeah, there's no strict. Oh, Filthy Casual speaking your language a lot. They want the Zark stuff in Master Duel as well.
Yes!
I don't know what Master Duel's doing, by the way, like not releasing that shit. I don't get it.
I actually started bouncing in my chair.
But it does have 200 defense, so you could like put all 3 in your graveyard and rekindling to get all 3 on board.
Yeah.
There are other like Fire Dragon related support cards in and around Tenpai Dragon that could let you do some setups to get some extra summons. Obviously, like you only get its full effect on normal, but that's a hard once per turn. I should also point out though, you said 3K attack. That is incorrect, Axe. That's a soft once per turn.
That's what I said earlier. It's 3,
no, what I'm
9,
saying
8
is
more as
you gain
Draco.
Yeah,
so,
they
so if you play all 3, you could do it 3 times.
Yeah, you get it very large. This card gains 1,000 attack. Like they
you also play
get
cards that
great
count
bait.
as other cards, I guess.
You could do some tricks. Do some funny name dub stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting one. They did reveal they're gonna do a couple more Raikas. They've got like a new Link 3 Reptile Link. We might actually have good links now for reptiles.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Once again, I just want to poke this guy's belly. Just look at him.
Yeah, he's a good little guy.
He's
Also, by the way,
I can't handle it.
I need to throw this out there. They're gonna release like a giant box set of like Albaz lore, which is gonna come with one more Albaz fusion card. This dumb guy.
His materials are crazy.
Yeah.
Look.
This card's name is Alba System. Technically in the OCG, it's Dragmata, so it would be Dogmatic Calamity Alba System. It's a level 8 Dark Dragon fusion.
Guys, hold on. Sorry. You know what this is? Mecha Godzilla. But for Albaz.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's basically that, or it's like separate.
Well, you might notice.
Copy.
I believe that first one is Albaz, right?
Yes, it's Fallen of Albaz plus 6 monsters in your graveyard with different names. Oh,
Yes.
it's 4,500 attack, 2,500 defense. Must
He
first
has-
be fusion summoned.
That makes
He
me
has a
give the
very weird effect.
This gives me the impression that this is a card that's made from basically all the remnants of all the other fusions for the story.
Well, yeah, considering his effects.
There are some
He is
theories.
specifically... I'm sorry.
Like, some people have claimed this is supposed to be what, like, Albazo was trying to become. Maybe this was, like, what Aluber/Lubellion represented. Maybe this was supposed to be, like, those 2 guys when they were, like, one guy. I don't know. It's a funny little thing. So, Alba System says it can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each. You must send 1 card from your extra deck to the graveyard to declare an attack with this card. Once per turn, if you control this fusion summon monsters and have 6 or more fusion monsters in your graveyard that mention Fallen of Albaz's material, send all cards in both players' extra decks to the graveyard.
Yippee!
So this is just a big, dumb, stupid asshole who, if you do the combo correctly, you win the game because you dump out the opponent's extra deck. So, like, I think MBT said it the best himself. Prepare to see a lot of this dork on Sub Replay Friday and Table 500 type shit when this comes out in Master Duel. Like, this is a card that is made for replays to style on people. It is not a good card to play. Notice how its materials are 6 monsters in graveyard. So you have to use, I think, what, like, branded in white to banish? Or something to that effect? Like,
I guess so, yeah.
Like, it requires the materials to be in your graveyard, and it has no special summoning condition. Like, it doesn't, like... It's not a contact fusion, so... It's just really weird, but it's very funny. But, let me actually... Here, I'll swazzle this. We'll get out of here in a second, but I do want to mention this white wood stuff. So let me actually set up that window, because I've got it. chat. I'll move. Nope. Give me the chat window. There it is. We'll scoot you over there. So, it's funny, you know, like we said earlier, there are still technically sinful spoils and stuff, like cards coming out, like, right now. But rather than give Snake Eyes, like, future support, they decided to go back a little in time and do a prequel archetype. So we have here Asteria of the White Woods, very clearly baby Diabel Star. She got her little robe and hat. Got all her magical stuff. This is a light spellcaster level 2 that lets you send a spell trap from your hand to the or field of the graveyard to special summon any level, any one light spellcaster tuner from your deck. So many funny things can be had there. And then also, if you send a spell trap to your graveyard to activate a monster effect, all this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Do note, by the way, that doesn't say banish it after. So this card just recurs forever. We next have Reset of the White Woods. This is very clearly small Diabelise. She's another level 2 light spellcaster. She says you can only use her effects once per turn. You can send a spell trap from your hand to fill the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, then add a White Woods monster from your deck to your hand, except for Zet. If a light spellcaster tuner is summoned to your field during your opponent's turn while this card's in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Then we've also got some fun stuff. We've got Wolf Woman, Sylvia of the White Woods. She's a level 4 light spellcaster tuna. 1500 attack, 100 defense. If this card is normal or special, add a White Wood spell trap. If this card's in your graveyard as a quick effect, you can target a White Wood synchro monster you control or in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and special summon this card, but it's negated. So, also referencing one of the sinful spoils here. Her name is part of the name of Sinful Spoils of Portrayal, Silvera, where it appears that Diabel Star summons a giant wolf head.
Something happened.
Let's
Yeah,
go down
the,
the cards. I think we'll see what happens.
It's funny, right? Like MBT has been pushing the Wicked theory, which I'm not entirely opposed to, but with this Whitewood stuff, this archetype became way more Bayonetta all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is very Bayonetta, and just like how it's like everything just kind of horribly fucked up, but now we got
and then Filthy Casual even said that at the end. We also have another one. We've got Ricia or Rikea of the Whitewoods. Or technically it says Lucia, so it's like Ricia. With Rapier and Hat. I approve of this. She's another level 4, light spellcaster tuner. You only use her effects once per turn. If you control White Woods, you can special summon her. So just like crazy good for synchro. You can send a spell trap from your hand or field to the graveyard to just draw 1. That is a hard once per turn, but still crazy good.
Seems pretty solid.
If this card's in your graveyard, quick effect, target a White Wood synchro monster you control, return to your extra deck, special summon it's negated, so both of your tuners basically reset your synchros to reborn themselves. And then we got some synchros. Oh, also I should pull up what her Sinful Spoil is. Sinful Spoils of Doom, Ruselia, which is just Diabel Star has a cool scythe.
Understandable.
So,
yeah, but when you look at some of the synchro monsters...
Yeah, this is Synchro Silvera. She's larger and has more wolves. More wolf now. Level 6 light spellcaster synchro tuner.
Sorry, I'm just gonna probably headcanon this. Diabelstar has one wolf. Lizette has the other wolf.
We may see that. We know that Diabelise has her own sinful spoils too. But yeah,
getting
so
the idea.
Sarah, which wolf?
They started as AC Lumen Witches and then became Night Witches.
There's some bad juju here. This is a level 6 light synchro. Also, this deck likes synchro tuners and like 6s. So hi Coral Dragon.
Oh yeah, that's.
Thank God Hulk has been fucking put in prison forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Look, that card did not deserve to be generic.
No. So Silvera Witch Wolf is, level 6, 1924. She's completely generic. If she's special summoned, Book of Moon. All your opponent's face-up monsters can be put face down. Also, a second effect that I like. Illusion and Spellcaster Synchro monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, if they attack a defense position monster, do double piercing.
Yep.
It's just tacked on there too. It's just like also that. Also
Yes.
this.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I believe a TG Hyper Librarian is a level 6 Spellcaster Synchro.
I believe you are correct.
So yeah, this deck is fun, by the way. I like this deck.
I appreciate it says illusion spellcasters because they're like,
It
hey, you
is
might just
indeed.
run this in
It's
simple
level
forms.
5.
Oh, it's 5.
Synchro
Okay, so it's not
spellcaster.
perfect.
Man, gee, what do those wings look like?
Yeah. Also, Ruselia gets like super hot. She's ready to rumble. She's another level 6 spellcaster. She's got her attack stats that way. She's a synchro tuner. You use this first effect once per turn. If this card's special summoned, you can send a spell trap from your hand or field to add a Whitewoods card or a light spellcaster from your deck to your hand. Any of them. And then she also gives you 500 attack, and they can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects.
Getting the impression that the Abelstar basically got basically boss trinkets from them by the end of it. They got what remained of them at the very end.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that, I guess she is most wanted, so there has to be a reason for this, but I'm going to assume what happened is that, the two Diabels got wrapped up in some witch cult shit, and, Diabelstar basically ran away after, fighting a whole game's worth of bosses to get their extra powers and just fled, and now she's on the run.
Well, and then we got the next one, which is the most concerning one.
Yes, here she is. I like this name, by the way, in Japanese. Shiroki Mori no Yoma Diabel. Diabel, Fiendess of the White Woods. Scary lady. Who clearly has Diabolise's Sinful Spoils, that Thorn Hand. Diabolise has that later. This is a level 8 Light Illusion Synchro monster. I believe this is our first Illusion-type Synchro.
Oh, I think you're right.
No.
And funnily enough, in terms of when you use this in the deck type, it's either both the little girls and one of the tuners, or one of the synchro tuners and one of the smaller girls.
Looking on Edo Pro, you're right. We have one fusion and one Xyz. So this is our first synchro illusion.
Yeah. The illusion Xyz, by the way, is a rank 4, so that's very playable in this deck as well.
Are you supposed to go with the idea that it's an illusion, that it's more of like it's not actually a thing that happened, but like a possibility?
No, I think she's an because Diabolise is also an illusion. I assume the illusion is the idea that basically somewhere along the way we crossed over from normal witch stuff into something else. Hence her name being Fiendess of the White Woods.
Yeah, I think it's something akin to Warlock or more Eldritch magic.
Yeah, clearly we've done something spooky. So this is again
welcome to the
completely
whimsical
generic.
adventure. Oh fuck, we've gone too far.
Yeah. You can use her, effects once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned using a tuner synchro, target a spell trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Good recycle effect. Just get your shit back. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send a spell trap from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon a level 7 or lower tuner synchro monster from your extra deck, graveyard, or banishment.
Nice.
So just get stuff back. Yes, big spooky lady.
Also, when it's summoned, you get the material to do the other effects, so it's consistent.
No, it's pretty good. So you've got Legend of the White Woods, which has this kind of shadow puppet effect, which I like.
It's the diorama effect from most fairy tales.
So a normal spell, if you control an illusion or a spellcaster, add a White Woods monster from your deck to your hand. If this card's sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can set this card. That is hopped, but still, these are basically this deck is basically Witchcrafter Turbo. All of your spell traps reload themselves. It's great. I love the name of this, Beware the White Woods. So clearly you got some real spooky fairy tale shit. If you control a level 6 or higher illusion or spellcaster, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can set this card. This is another Sinful Spoils card, technically. Whisper of the Sinful Spoils, so clearly our two leads are taking the sinful spoil, the apple.
My gut feeling, honestly, is that both of them become Diabel, or Diabel is a separate thing entirely, or Diabelsta.
They both have Diabel names, so like I assume that like
one of them became it, and I feel like Diabelstar had to kill her 2 other friends to get out of the way, and now is a criminal for killing her friends.
Maybe. We'll see about the exact lore. It is certainly something kind of like that, but there's a lot of stuff going on. But this is a quick play. It's a sinful spoils card. Target an illusion or spellcast you control, return it to your hand or extra deck. I love this, by the way. They are explicitly calling out return to extra deck. Special summon an illusion or spellcaster from your graveyard or banishment. So just do a hot swap between illusions or spellcasters. This card's sent to the graveyard, set it. And then the trap, which clearly lets you know some bad shit is happening. Also, I guess, is saying that Lucia is bat-themed.
I see.
Woes of the White Woods,
so...
normal trap. Special summon a White Woods monster from your hand or deck. Then immediately after this resolves, synchro summon. If this card's sent, set it.
I think that means what was in the White Woods corrupted both of those two at least. So at least I think
probably.
That's
maybe they did a sinful spoil. They took an apple.
Yeah,
sorry, hold on. I'm going to. Yes, Vesper, go.
I think what happened with the sinful spoil, like the forbidden apple, corrupted both Diabelstar and Diabellese, and that corruption leaked out into their friends and all that.
So Diabelstar took the edgy route, and the other one just kind of like pretending she's perfectly fine.
No. Their other friends is what Vesper said.
No, I know, but I'm saying is that like Diabellese.
Well, Diabellese is an illusion, so like I think Diabellese just stays in the forest. She's the White Woods now, because she's a like a level 7 illusion monster, also by the way, who has an anti-Diabelstar effect. I'm gonna assume what we're going for here is that Diabelstar herself is like. We're going with the anti-hero route. Like, she looks villainous and uses like super evil looking powers, but is actually the good guy because our enemies are all super, clean and white and immaculate.
It's like the enemies are the angels. Diabelstar is the outcast, but she's not like.
What I'm getting from this is that the simple spoils. Sorry. Diabelstar's looking at the simple spoils and just goes, "That shit, no, that needs to go. I'm gonna collect them all so no one else can take this shit."
Yeah, and
this should not be in the hands of anyone else.
We'll see some other stuff going on. Because there's a few archetypes in this lore. You've got obviously Snake Eyes. You've got Diabelstar herself in the Sinful Spoils. You've got now White Woods, and Goblin Riders are also in the same universe. Yeah,
technically, yes.
I mean, not technically. Like straight up, some of their card arts is them trying to fucking steal Poplar.
Yep. Yeah, the Goblin Riders are basically just the filler arc.
Honestly, it is actually, I think, very anime-esque. Like, the first half of the season, like, the first core is just Diabelstar goes on adventures and, like, fights monsters and goblins and stuff. And then, like, halfway through, her rival shows up, and the show suddenly takes, like, a wild fucking turn. And you're just like, hold on, what's going on? What's happening? Why are there 4 episodes of flashbacks?
Yeah, it's the classic pattern of like, okay, like we're in a Kamen Rider show, like we're introducing the characters and all this stuff, and once we're done doing that, we have to get into the drama. We have to get the ball rolling.
Why is there a 6-episode horror arc that's just like a horror movie condensed into 6 episodes? What the fuck?
The classic term for that is the myth arc, where just like, hey, we're gonna take an arc and explain the backstory. Yeah. So like, knowing us, we'll probably do like a series of failed portrayals on the Snake Eyes related archetypes. Just like, though, with the Abyss, Albaz storyline, this is obviously still ongoing, so we're still working some stuff out. The freaky deaky part will be, like, if they do the mega crossover cameo and just, like, the last Sinful Spoils card is, like, Albaz or Visa Starfrost, like, showing up out of nowhere for, like, an Avengers moment. The post-credits.
I don't think Vsauce works, but Albaz could work, because technically it could just be a different country on the planet.
When you said big crossover, I was thinking Big Gabonga, like
Big Gabonga.
Like a corrupted demonic Big Gabonga.
Oh, he comes back, but eviler. I mean, hey, that goes back later. We were talking about Impmon and Beelzemon earlier. Beelzemon does have a motorcycle. But yeah, no.
I can't forget my favorite fucker, Diablomon.
We got some great stuff. And you know, we're listen, Yu-Gi-Oh! I understand the prices are very high and the meta sucks ass, but like, there's a lot of fun stuff still happening. So, you know, you just gotta wait and hope on that ban list. Like I said, I'm firmly putting my foot down. I'm predicting that Konami will do their usual shenanigans, and in the middle of a YCS, we have one this weekend and then another one next weekend because we're in the YCS series. You're gonna get a ban list. So hold on
it's
that.
It's gonna drop either during the tournament or like the day before one, and we're just like, all right, well.
Now, like, what will be on that ban list? I don't know. The OCG had some very weird hits lately. I expect you probably are gonna see. I know that it's only been hot for a month, but it is very clearly the strongest deck. You are probably gonna see some hits to both Fire Kings and Snake Eyes.
There has to be some hit to it. I don't think it's gonna be like
it's
they're
probably not gonna be a silver bullet, but
yeah, they're gonna let consistency and like try to tighten the spigot on.
But you might see like high avatar Kieran to 1.
Sorry, since we were making jokes and references to Digimon, it'll be Phoenix on like a crucifix. Like, remember, he died for your sins.
Yeah. There was one of the sinful spoils, like spell traps, was like limited to 1 in the OCG. That might work. You may actually see SP Little Knight to like 1 because the semi limit is just like a very weird side hit. They may actually spice that up a little. I don't think they'll do anything to Lab. Lab's not actually that strong right now.
Well,
we'll see what happens. The top decks are all like Fire King, Snake Eyes. Voiceless Voice is doing fine. Like that's a deck that I think will filter into the meta. Oh, and Master Duel. I mean, yeah, Lab's good, but the Master Duel ban list also is like I expect nothing out of the Master Duel ban list because I fucking double dog dare them to ban an ultra rare, basically. So hey, other than the fact that they've semi-limited all the furniture in Labyrinth, guess what? All the good Labyrinth cards are foils. What can you do, Master Duel? You have no power here. Like, this is the flaw, the fundamental flaw that 2 years in, they're going to have to eventually get the fuck over. Master Duel's going to have to ban ultra rares. I know that they don't want to do that because for some ungodly reason they committed to giving you extra dust when they ban a card outright. But because they rarity inflate everything good, they can't hit cards that do anything. Hence, they didn't ban circular, but they like limited diameter. You know, I think the only high rarity cards they've hit are the Ishizu ones.
How many ultras have they actually hit?
None. I think there's literally like, I mean, not none. There's like 2, I think, of ultra rares that were released after the game came out, and they're both Ishizu cards. Like, it's bad. It's very clearly flawed, but it's one of those things where, like, I double dog dare them.
Isn't there an ulti-tier name they've hit?
Did they hit one of the ultras in tier? Because I thought it was just, like, the commons and normals they banned out. Like, tier's still, like, remarkably playable in Master Duel. It's just, like, you can't play fucking Merly, I think, is, like, completely banned. And she was, like, a normal or a rare. Master Duel's ban list is so fucking weird.
Oh, they have Sheeran to 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just want to see like how much will Master Duel explode if they ban Maxi and hit Bash Russell to 2.
Okay.
The Bash Russell to 2 is a terrible idea. I just think it'd be funny to see it.
They have Pellerino to 1.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah. We're getting out of here. We're just chilling. But there's a lot of fun stuff happening. Your regular format ban list will come out. Yeah, there's a lot of cards that are technically listed as
they technically do FTK cards.
Forbidden, but like I'm looking at the actual forbidden cards that are technically ultras. You have Hulk they added later. Both the Guard Dragons and Nightmare Goblin and Mermaid, but I don't know if those were actually in the game. Rongo Bongo did get banned. Azathoth is banned and would technically be an ultra. Oh, yeah, so I see cards that aren't even in the game. Looking at you, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Those don't have a rarity, so yeah. Pot of Greed is banned as an ultra, but they, like, add that. They did ban Terraforming as a generic ultra. Union Carrier is banned. Totally Awesome is banned. Kelbeck is banned. That's an Ultra. Vanity's Emptiness is banned. Some of these, I think, were like cards, though, that were in the initial card pool that they banned later.
I'm looking at Mermaid and Goblin. They are not in the Nightmare pack, which I believe means that they were like they came into the game banned.
Yeah, they were there for like
they may have been
they are
instructions
craftable banned cards, so they when the game started, they were already banned.
Yeah, you can play them in Ultra Rares, but like the only cards I think that are like added actually after the game came out that hit the ban list that are high rarity is stuff like the Ishizu, like Kelbeck and Agito.
Pellerino.
Yeah, Pellerino.
It's just like I don't know if there's a logic that's findable to it because they're never gonna tell us. So, and it's not really tracking like the Japanese, and just I think we're influenced by the Japanese ban list than anything.
They do a lot of ultras to 1. I will say at least like they're like a lot of Kashira cards to 1. That does make me worried though. That makes me feared that they're not gonna like actually ban a Rise Heart. So that means
Have
I'm
they
gonna
banned any hand traps?
No.
Okay, so that might prove something in my head.
Axe, I mean, I don't know how to tell you this, but the Master Duel and the real life ban list is actually pro hand trap, other than the TCG hitting Max C. In Master Duel, and I believe in real life, Crossout Designator is at 1, and also Called By is at 1 in the TCG, and Called By is at 2 in Master Duel.
I was only asking that because I was seeing it's like, oh, okay, so that's why they don't touch Max C.
I mean, they don't touch Max C because Max C is considered an essential staple in the OCG. I don't know if those OCG nerds are spending money, though. I'd love to see the stats on that. I mean, technically, like, most of the annoying Bestials, which are technically hand traps, are all at 1. But like I said, this list basically makes me afeared that I'm gonna have to fear being fucking Kashtiraed forever because I'm like, wait, does this mean they'll never ban a Rise Heart? It makes me worried, but we're in a weird place.
Is it weird to feel that the actual like TCG ban list actually feels like it tries most of the time?
No, the TCG ban list does try. Like I think there have been some bad ban lists, but usually the TCG's primary format is the TCG sees that the OCG tried to kill a deck for like 2 lists and it didn't work, and they're just like, okay,
kill it.
It's time to go to jail.
Like if it's something suppressive, it's gonna go away in 2 cycles.
Yeah. I'm also shocked that because Verte's been in the game the entire time, and they did ban Hulk. I don't know why Verte's still legal in Master Duel.
The TCG has very regularly pre-hit cards as well because they see like FTK enablers in the OCG
like
causing problems.
Literally, like I think like a week of the new
Tyrant
super
Neptune.
heavy support coming out, they were like super heavy hits, Battle Ball gone.
Honestly, I this might be entirely wrong, but knowing my actual personal experience it planned, I honestly feel like for how the ban lists are done is that there is a team that basically makes a list, and then a corporate guy has to approve it, and then basically the corporate guy then tells them to like what cards they can't do.
Honestly, I would not be surprised. I would expect that like there are guys looking at like what cards have come out most recently, what cards are going to come out, and being like, okay, that's too recent, you can't ban that. We still need to sell that product. That card you can ban. That card you can ban. Some of them are probably like paying attention to the competitive scene and being like I don't know, in that your analogy, like, or your concept acts like, does the team that comes up with the ban list propose alternates, or does corporate go like, okay, you can't ban blah blah blah, but you can ban like barrier statue of the Stormwinds. You can't ban a full on Reese card, but you can ban statue.
I don't think there's anything concrete because it might be in that kind of just like general like headspace. It might be like not consistent.
The last TCG list is very because I'm looking at the one that went into effect January 1st. That was a very weird one. That was like Kelbeck and Agito banned. Fuck you, go to jail forever. They banned Circular. Please stop playing Math Mech. We finally banned Isolde. Thank God. That's a hit that also should just be true everywhere. Isolde fucking sucks. They unbanned Harp Horror. They unbanned Redox.
I know it's never going to happen.
Limited Rescue Ace Airlifter. That's probably good. They limited Shavara.
I still really want one day just to have like certain. I just want like the way more specific versions of like those cards. I still want like Crystron locked Hulk and Noble Knight locked Isolde.
I think they may eventually come, but yeah. Right, that's right. This list was very weird. This was the hit to exactly I forget her last name, but Jess, who wins with Sun Avalon Rika, because that was the two Sun Avalon links got limited to one. They just got tired of her winning Euro Championships exactly. By the way, guys, to remind everybody, Snatch Steal has been unbanned for 4 months in the TCG.
And no one cares.
It doesn't do anything. That shocks me.
It's just not fast enough, I guess, anymore.
Yeah. It's so weird.
It's like Change of Heart, Brain Control, Mind Control, all these cards, like, as powerful as that can be, it's very rarely game determinative anymore.
They also put Upstart Gooblin back to 3, and it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But Sleepy Memory to 2, which does actually do something.
If you play 3 Upstart, your opponent, and if it goes to time, you lose.
It's true. Pearly Sleepy Memory to 2 actually does matter. Because, my friend Pearly is like Search 3. So you could, if you had 3 copies of Sleepy Memory, you could guarantee it. Kind of a thing.
How many other decks have like pops reliable pops or like negates nowadays?
I mean, technically, every deck should have a pop, or you need interaction.
Yeah, I guess that's why Snatch Steal's not that great anymore, because one interaction just kills it immediately.
Yeah, and you get your monster back. Also, it's just like, it's technically searchable, but it's not good. But let me check. Tactical Masters was our last set. Tactical Masters. The following set was Amazing Defenders. So, actually, that'll be very relevant because we're getting close to cards that are still technically sniffing the meta lately, coming out early last year, about a year ago. You're looking at Mikanko, Pearly, and Rescue Ace, which are very relevant to those lists. So we could talk about... Loth's not here, but I'm sure you'd enjoy us talking about Mi Amigo Pearly. We can look at cute animals.
Pearly will definitely be a pretty funny one to go through. Both for the art and just the sheer power the deck had.
Yeah, Pearly was a top contender meta deck. Very strong. And like strong in a fairly unique way. I kinda like how Pearly played out. So look forward to I guess we'll commit to Pearly next time. I have not posted the Fail Portrayal poll on Patreon yet. I'm literally going to do that after we close the stream, so look forward to that. You can support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level to get in there. Check out our new Monday stream series. We just started that yesterday. Me and Lucky play Power Wash Simulator. We had a fun time. We power washed things and talked about stuff, including a lot of like tabletop games and card games and anime and stuff.
I have a thing to talk to you about.
Yeah. And then also, hey, Final Fantasy XIV still ongoing. I am end walking. We cleared the first dungeon last time, so we're still keeping on. So check that out.
We walk into that end?
Yes. We are full blown.
I guess you stop sprinting.
Sprinting, walking, we're going. I have defeated the Tower of Zot. Also completed the Final Fantasy 16 collab, so expect to see me with mini Torgal for a long time. Anyway,
do that.
Yeah, you should. It's a good one. You actually, I think, will find the special mechanics in the unique quest.
I saw it. I know. I think they're really good. I hope it carries over to like Dawn Trail a little bit, where you can actually like precise time it.
Yeah. Once again, Yoshi P, please give me a dodge tank. That was fun. But yeah, keep an eye out for the Fail Portrayal. I'll post it up there. I think that's everything out of me, so I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, for a couple hours there. We'll see you next time. If you have not seen it, make sure to go back and check out last week's special streams as well. April 1st, I did a Ken Lucky Guess Yu-Gi-Oh! Card stream. If you haven't seen that already, we had a fun time. And as I mentioned earlier on this stream, our special Fail Portrayal last time was... whatchamacallit? Pokemon cards. We looked at what the internet told me the best Pokemon TCG and worst Pokemon TCG card art was. And we had a fun time. So that's it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.